Something bothered me though. My house felt empty, or at least emptier than when I came for some reason. I couldn't put my finger on it, but it slightly bothered me. I finished my food and quickly rushed to the front, waiting for Naomi's car and confident that nothing was going to happen. I avoided talking about what had happened yesterday. I'll be riding with you guys from now on and to and from school. As we entered the school, we quickly gathered our things from our lockers and headed to class. There were no events, to my surprise. Naomi and Suzu took their seats around me, Suzu in front of me, Naomi beside me, before the class bell rang and the class was greeted by our teacher. History wasn't as boring as economics, but I still managed to space out in that class just the same. Suzu seemed to be very tense, focused on her desk more so than usual. I was almost tempted to poke her and see what was wrong. My phone, though, vibrated in my pocket. Thank God I set it on vibrate before class. I pulled out my phone and checked it, seeing a text from Naomi. I began to text back, suddenly going into a text conversation.
Hey, do you know what's wrong with Suzu?
I don't know.
Oh, I hope she's okay. She looks so stern.
Same here. I looked over once again at Suzu. She was intensely scribbling in her notebook, almost obsessively so. The grip on her new-looking purple pencil was almost tight enough to bend it at each stroke she made of it.
Oh, by the way, did you hear?
What?
Apparently, Suzu's family is really involved with the mob. My dad told me he saw Suzu's dad in court this morning with a big-time crime boss.
Ah, so we're going to get more of that sort of drama, eh? Well, why not? Really? I couldn't believe it. Was Suzu okay? I looked over once more. Something made my heart slightly skip at seeing her again. I was worried, yes, but for some reason I felt a little sad. Suzu had always sworn up and down that her family had no relations with crime lords, yet this happened. Why was this happening? Obviously the demons have got something to do with it. Or Brexit, maybe. Brexit's to blame for everything. Anyway, I put my phone back into my pocket, ending the conversation. Hopefully, Suzu would explain things to me soon. I was worried beyond belief about Suzu's position with her family. Time continued until the end of the class period in that exact status. Suzu held her tense ground, focusing on nothing but the incoherent scribbles on her paper, while Naomi and I watched on in worry, not caring for the class we were in. As the bell rang, Suzy stood up suddenly.
I gotta go. See you guys later.
Suzy zipped out of class like she was fleeing the devil himself.
What
Say that again.
just happened?
I don't know. Actually, wait a minute. Might be an important decision point. Let's just save just in case. Sure, yes. Right. We'll chase after her. Needed to see what was wrong. Suzy was important to me and I needed to help her. Maybe it'll be like the Godfather. I instantly grabbed my things and rushed out the room.
Whoa! Where are you going? Hey!
I wasn't listening, I needed to get to Suzy. The hall was full of students, which made spotting Suzy a little harder. I wished she was just a little taller. Suzy. I began to push through the crowd, trying to find a trace of her hair, her jacket, anything. I managed to get a glimpse of her green jacket, instinctively following it down the hall into a classroom. Suzy's class was the other way. Where was she going? It had something to do with the drug lord, or something. Anyway, I continued following and peeked into the classroom, seeing no one else in there except Suzy. What shocked me was seeing Suzy standing over an empty desk, slamming her fists onto the wood. I didn't know what to do. The world behind me in the hall went into slow motion as I stared at Suzy's back. She obviously wanted to be alone, but I wanted to help her and fix whatever was bothering her. Really, we're there. Let's just help her then. I couldn't leave it like this. I quietly stepped into the room and closed the door, making Suzy flinch and freeze up. Suzy? Suzy gasped before turning to me, a shocked expression on her face. Tears had painted her cheeks, which made my heart sink in my chest. Suzy, what's wrong?
It's nothing. Nothing.
Suzu quickly rubbed her eyes and face, trying to cover her face and clean it of sadness. I pressed my lips together, not believing her. Suzu, talk to me. You are acting strange in history.
I was just listening to the lecture.
I'm sure. You were scribbling in your notebook. I was watching almost the entire class period.
I have bad handwriting.
That was true, but she wouldn't write notes about class. She didn't care much for class, unlike Naomi and me. Was she... or rather, why was she lying to me? What was going on? What was making her so distraught? Suzu, whatever's troubling you, let me help you.
You can't help me, okay?
I stepped back, feeling the sudden anger in her voice. She covered her mouth, regretting what came out of it, and stared almost in pure fright at me. Suzu. I stepped towards her, not wanting to scare her, but wanting to be closer. Suzu didn't seem affected, so I continued to walk towards her. Eventually, we were only a desk away from each other. Just like the standoff in East and West Berlin of old, I guess, or something. Anyway, I don't know why that comparison came to mind, but anyway, tell me. Suzu stared before letting out a shuddering sigh, nodding in defeat. I slowly took a seat in the desk in front of me, watching as she moved to stand in front of it.
I've been having some issues, okay?
Issues? What about?
I'm supposed to help out the casino after graduation.
Isn't that good? It's a job, so it'll pay.
Yeah, pay. And blood money.
Ha, I knew it. What do you mean? Is something going on with the casino?
Yeah, I get the pleasure of being a true Italian.
What do you mean?
Well, Dad's always wanted to own a casino, but my dad's an immigrant and whatever, so language barriers kept him from doing that. Luckily, my mom's pure Chicagoan, and so she knows English. When they opened up the casino together, I thought it'd be a great experience.
But it wasn't, was it?
A couple of suits showed up to our house last night. Mafia suits. Claimed that we were under protection as part of the Capone family.
No way, Susan.
Look, I knew my family was a little messed up, but to be related to Capone was beyond crazy. My mother swore up and down that she had no relation to them, but apparently, through a marriage and a couple contracts, we're technically part of the family. Even if it isn't true, they made my folks sign out a protection license.
It was crazy. Al Capone was the Chicago mobster Robin Hood, but knew how to keep a family together. I never knew Susan's family was so involved. What? Wait a minute, isn't... Wait. Huh, okay. With Suzu so protective of her family, it's no wonder she was upset. Interesting, because I guess the Capone family kept going. Anyway, she preached so often that her family wasn't involved in things like that. Even Naomi defended her. I had to stop. This wasn't helping Suzu. I needed to help her feel better beyond anything else. So what happens to you?
Nothing. We pay a part of our profit to the family, and we're protected. Protected my ass. It's bribe money to make sure we don't lose business or get bombed.
Susie stared down at the desk between us, her hands tightening into fists.
This is bullshit. I was gonna be normal, I was gonna be happy, I was gonna finally be normal enough to ask you out!
I felt like I was dreaming. What? She wanted to ask me out? Huh? When? How? Really? Didn't pick up on any of the signals? Jesus. Well, certainly not like a Soviet radar, that's for sure. Suzu covered her mouth and stared up at me. As if she had slapped me and regretted moving her hand, I stared, lost in my own thoughts. Suzu pounded the desk with her fists again.
Fuck! This is great! Just great! Turn around.
I stood and turned around, obeying her, lost in my own train of thought. I needed to do anything I could to help her subconsciously. I could hear Suzu grumbling to herself.
Stupid! Need to stop. You might as well go. I mean, this is...
Suzu groaned. I could feel her mixed emotions radiate onto my back. I felt myself step forward, away from Suzu in reaction. Quickly though, Suzu grabbed hold of my vest. I froze, breaking from my own thoughts.
I like you. I really do, okay?
Alright then. I felt my heart flutter in flattery. Suzu, one of my best friends, liked me. I wasn't sure what to say. Suzu's grip on my vest tightened, pulling me slightly. I wanted to turn and hug her, but right now she needed to let her emotions out.
I like you, but I don't want to ask you out like this. I don't want people to think you're affiliated with the Mafia kid. This whole situation's just messed up and...
Well then, obviously we need to grab our 6 shooters and clean up the joints then, or something like that, I don't know. Anyway, I felt my heart drop. She cared about me and wanted to protect me from her reputation. I was flattered, but at the same time, I was angry. She was my best friend, and she liked me enough to confess her feelings to me, despite her situation. What could I say to her, though? Yes, that is a good question. This was a huge deal for both her and me. She had been one of my best friends for the majority of my life, and here she was, confessing to having a crush on me. It was surreal, yet it made me feel both strange and fluffy. Susie sighed and let go of my vest. I turned round to see her run her fingers through her hair.
Look, I'm sorry. I guess I needed to vent. I feel better now.
I couldn't help but stare at Susie longer. Was she not expecting me to say anything in return? A sentence bubbled in my stomach, forcing itself out of my mouth without a filter. Let's see. Yes, go out with me. I did not know what came over me. I let it spill out. I liked her though, I liked her a lot. She was badass and cute in her own special way. I loved that she was an individual and stayed true to herself, no matter what Naomi or I did. Sure, she was a little aggressive, but that added to the charm. Susie stared wide-eyed at me, blushing as red as could be. I was positive that, if she blushed any more, she would faint from all the blood rushing into her cheeks to colour them that red.
Did you just...
It sounds like it. Yes, I did. I stepped forward and gently took Susie's hand. I needed her to know how I felt. She poured her feelings out to me. It was more than fair to share mine with her. I really like you too. You're adorable and I love that about you. You're caring and fun, and you have this sort of charm. Susie, will you go out with me? Susie was completely red in the face, but her eyes started to water. Rogue tears dripped from the edges of her eyes as she almost glared at me.
But what about...
I don't care. We'll deal with it as it comes, but for now, I want to be with you, truly. Susie stared before rushing at me and hugging me tightly, burying her face in my chest. I held her tightly, wanting to comfort her. Felt a small part of my heart filled with pure joy. I felt happy, like nothing was going to stand in our way. Not even the Capones. Months... Oh, okay, wow. We've gone that fast, are we? Months went by since Susie's confession. We were happy and eventually graduation came along. The rest of the story could almost be passed over. I graduated from school as one of the top 10 students of my class. Most of my family were proud, even my dad. Maybe it was because I did my best in school, maybe it was because I was finally a woman in his eyes. Susie, my girlfriend, went to work at the casino right after school, learning both security and machine design. I guess her love for video games drew her interest into slot machines. Soon she was able to fix broken or hacked machines within mere moments. As for her family, they weren't afraid of the protection they had, but they were cautious with every business meeting they held with bank bigwigs. Susie would often drag me to the arcade to blow off steam if something went wrong. But what of my future? Well, with Susie's support, I finally decided to stand up for myself. After I graduated, Andrew and I presented our cases and the board decided to have Andrew step into the CEO position of the Anderson Toys Company. I wonder if that would have been different if we'd had that other decision at the party, probably. My father was beyond shocked. I congratulated Andrew and went to the University of Chicago to get a degree while Andrew dedicated himself full-time to the company. Andrew vowed to respect the wishes of the late CEO and helped the company become an even grander company. Andrew had a large amount of heart, so it was easily accomplished. My grandfather would have been proud to see how Andrew helped it shine. With the CEO position filled, my father had no choice but to let me decide my future, which made me happy beyond compare. No longer would I have the future scaring me into a corner. I could choose my life on my own. That being said, I was still scared of where the future was going to take me. What did I want to do? Did I want to help Andrew build the company? Did I want to venture off on my own? Susie reassured me that she would support me and help me through whatever I decided to do. I was grateful and would never forget that promise. I was happy and nothing could shake me down from that happiness. One morning I woke up and took in all that had happened as if it were all a dream. My life seemed to fall perfectly into place. It was almost surreal.
Is everything as you wanted, sweetie?
Nope, here we go. I sharply turned my head to see a woman dressed in a golden black gown staring at me with unnatural red eyes. For some reason I felt as if she was familiar. I just couldn't place my finger on it. She twirled round a small purple pencil, smiling to me with a happy look. I, however, wasn't happy to have a sudden intruder. Who are you?
There's no need to worry about who I am. I just wanted to make sure you got what you desired. I didn't want to just leave you empty-handed.
What I desired? This was making no sense, yet in my heart I felt like it did. Something about her was making my heart both elated and angry, but I couldn't pin down why. How did she even appear in my room in the first place? Whoever you are, you need to leave. I'll not hesitate to call the police.
Oh, I'm leaving all right. I just wanted a small pick-me-up. Chasing down boys and bringing them home was a hard job and took a lot out of me.
I'm sure. I felt suddenly weak staring at the woman. I felt warm and fuzzy inside my body and I wanted the woman to cure me. Why was I feeling like this?
Would you mind if I steal a little kiss for the road? It'll be a long trek to where I'm going, and I need to make sure I have the energy to get there. It's only fair since I helped you get your little happy ending, no?
Well, she took away our memories. I don't think she really did much more beyond that, but what the hell? I felt myself nod. What was I doing? The woman smiled before walking over, leaning over me and kissing my cheek. I felt waves of energy deplete from my body through my cheek. I felt elated and confused, but I almost moaned at the feel of the kiss. After a short moment, the woman finally stepped away with a lick of her lips. She rubbed a finger over her lips as she stepped away from me. I couldn't help but stare blankly at her in surprise and confusion.
Lovely. Now, this is the last time you'll see me. I hope you and your little Suzu have a wonderful life together.
The woman placed the purple pencil into the cleavage of her dress and began to leave the room. I was too stunned to move, but I watched as the woman opened my balcony window, floated up, and dropped from the balcony.
And thus, my price is paid.
The price for the death of memory. I heard her voice echo in my mind before I heard the snapping of a pencil breaking my thoughts. What was I thinking about? Oh yes, my life. I let my mind wander to my future before my phone started ringing. I instantly picked it up. Hello?
Hey, wanna go to Paradise Parlor? I need to get out of the house, and now is my only chance. I'll pay this time.
Well, that's a good change of pace. Sure, why not? Come pick me up at my gate.
Will do. Love you.
And that was my happily ever after. Interesting. I dare say that was a bittersweet ending, given the death of memory that we had there. Well. Well, what the hell, I think we've got time just to see how things would have turned differently if we gone with slightly different decisions, so we'll leave her alone, and let's see what happens. I sighed and stayed with Naomi. Susie wanted to be alone for a reason, so I needed to leave her alone. She'll come around and tell me what's wrong when she's ready. Naomi nodded to me before we headed out to our next classes. My life became a blur. Here we go. I was once again surrounded by people moving faster than myself as I walked through my life in slow motion. I felt that I could stop and the world would continue moving in high speed. Memories of childhood haunted me throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the month. Soon I let my entire last semester pass me by and I was on the cusp of graduating. I never felt more nervous about my life. What would happen after I touched my diploma? Would real life just sweep me away? Would I be left alone in a void of my own doing? It was hard to say. I stared at the graduation forms covering my dining room table, unable to process all the information on them. I'm going to graduate. My mind settled into a hushed rumble at the thought of graduating. I was nervous, excited, worried, bored, anxious, and angry all at once. What was I going to do? Where was I going to go after this was all over? What was in my future? Why did my house feel so empty? Probably because it's massive and she's the only one living in it. I sighed and put my forehead against the wood of the table. My head had begun to spin and I needed it to stop. Closing my eyes, I counted my heartbeat as it pounded in my head. What broke my concentration was my doorbell ringing. I lifted my head and walked over into the lobby to open the door. Who is it?
It's your father.
Yep, here we go. My hand froze on the doorknob. Why was he here? I could practically feel the incoming lecture we were about to have emanating from the cracks of the door. I felt my nervousness take hold of my emotions as I simply stood there, staring at the frosted glass on the door at my dad's figure. What is it?
I wanted to talk to you. It's important.
Wait, maybe it's a trap. I opened the door, ushering him in. There was no use in denying the inevitable. Maybe he became a vampire. Anyway, my father stepped in and looked around the lobby like an investigative health inspector. Couldn't help but press my lips together in irritation. What did he want to talk about?
You've kept the place clean. Good.
Thank you.
I want to talk about your future.
Yep, of course, great. What about it? I'm going to graduate and go to college.
That's not what I meant. I meant about you being part of Anderson Family Toys.
I stared. Was he serious right now? Did he really want to add another stress point in my life? I felt myself glare out of pure irritation with the topic. What about it?
Do you want to be part of the company?
Do I get to decide? Was he seriously asking this? Was I getting an option? This had to be a test. This couldn't be real. You said I was to be.
I said, do you want to be part of the company?
I felt my mind go blank. Did I want to be part of the company? If this chance was real, this was my one chance to do what I wanted without expectation of my head. I wanted to be free. I wanted to fly high and find my own path of life. If that was really a future with the company, I would be taken there on my own choice, not on the command of my father. If my future took me far away, then I wanted that chance to go. No, I don't.
May I ask why?
I want to choose my own future. I don't want to be stuck to expectation. I felt my mind began to fill with ideas of the future, dreams and goals that I could possibly fulfill with a new freedom. I want to decide what to do with my life. If it's with Anderson Family Toys, then I want my heart to bring me there. My heart tensed in fear. Was he going to scold me? Was he going to be happy? What was he going to do? His sigh almost frightens me to death.
You should do what makes you happy.
What? Did he really? Dad?
I'll admit, I've been harsh on you. I thought that me pushing you would make you confident to take the family company. With you being in this place, though, I was worried that you'd turn out as curious as your grandfather.
Well, not this particular iteration. Then why did you send me here?
Because I wanted to see what you would do if you weren't constantly under my influence.
My dad placed a hand on my head and rubbed it gently as I stared up in confusion at him.
Looking at you now, I see a grown woman, ready to take on the world. I deeply regret not being the dad I was supposed to be.
Well, he just sucked then, didn't he? Oh well, suddenly I felt my dad pull me into an embrace, burying his head in my shoulder. I stared wide-eyed over his shoulder, unable to take in what was happening. Was he hugging me for real? Was he seriously in regret?
I should have let you be a kid a little while longer. Now that you're grown up, I can't guide you anymore.
I began to shake. This was real. This had to be. This was too emotional to be a dream. I gripped onto my dad, making sure my senses weren't lying to me.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
My dad pulled back slightly and gently moved a strand of hair from my face, smiling at me.
I love you, sweetie.
And then I broke. Oh, that's right, I didn't actually say that at any other point. The world finally was able to freeze completely as I held onto my dad and cried into his shoulder. I let my mind completely empty and fill itself with memories of my dad and me. He used to be kind, he used to care. Something took that dad away from me, and now he was back. Well, better late than never. Anyway, I could feel his love for me as he held me close and let me cry into his shoulder. He finally said, "I love you, Daddy."
My baby girl. I'm so proud of you.
I leaned completely into my dad's embrace as he supported me to stand. I felt like a little girl again, and it was both pathetic and blissful. I didn't care, I was with my dad. My dad gently pulled away and kissed my forehead, letting me hiccup with a small smile.
No matter how old you are, you'll always be my little girl. I may have screwed up your childhood, but let me make it up to you in the future.
Okay. I nodded, wiping my eyes. I finally could have a dad who didn't see me as an investment, but saw me as a daughter. Indeed, it took them long enough. My heart was jumping in my chest in joy, while my mind filled with happy thoughts. I felt like I could do anything now. My dad rustled my hair a bit before stepping away from me.
Now, I have to take your mom out to dinner. It's been a while since we've gone out, but I think it's time to apologize to her as well.
For what?
For being a burden she had to carry. She's always supported you from the sidelines, but I didn't let her completely be a wife and mother. It's time to make her happy now.
My dad and I smiled at each other. We understood each other now, and I was happy beyond words. My dad left my house, but not completely alone. I knew that he would support me now with whatever I wanted to do. I smiled and held my hands to my chest, feeling my heart pulse. I'll be okay.
Yes, you will be.
I was waiting for it to show up. I quickly turned to the voice to see a woman dressed in black and gold dress smiling at me. It was as if she appeared from out of thin air, and I went into defense mode. Who are you?
Relax, relax. I'm just passing by.
What do you mean? How did you get in here?
You don't need to know that. I only came here to pick up a little something, and then I'll be gone.
What are you? With a snap of the woman's fingers, I suddenly felt myself get warm. This feeling was familiar, but I couldn't pinpoint how. What was she doing to me? I watched as the woman walked to me and gently lifted my chin to look at my face with a smile.
A kiss for the road, sweetie. I had to do a lot of running around, and it's made me need a pick-me-up.
I felt myself nod. What was I doing? The woman smiled and gently lowered her face to kiss me. I felt like melting to the kiss, but I knew deep inside that this was beyond wrong. How was she doing this? Why was she doing this? I felt my strength and energy drained from the kiss, and soon I felt my legs slightly wobble in weakness. The woman pulled away and placed a small purple vial in my hand.
Drink up, sweetie. You need it.
Wait a minute, didn't we already lose... No, or is it to make us lose our memory again? I don't know. I nodded and opened the vial before pouring its contents into my mouth. It was sweet like fruit, but it wasn't overpowering, and I felt my energy return to my body at the last drop that dripped into my tongue. Huh? What?
A gift from me, as a thank you for giving me the strength to finally take what is mine.
Wait, to take what is hers? What is yours? The woman smiled before nodding to me. Memories, I guess? Anyway, and walking around me to the door. As she opened it and took a step out, she looked back to me.
Praeteritorium poscunt, correge augurium, delir memoria, liberaret iam.
As she closed the door behind her, I suddenly felt my mind go back to being happy. What had just happened? Oh right, my dad had just left. Oh god. I felt more confident than ever and knew that I could take on anything. I rushed over to the dining room and looked over the graduation papers with a small smirk. I could do this. Like, totally. Eventually my graduation came along. I walked across the school stage and took hold of my diploma of grace. The rest of the story could almost be passed over. I graduated from school as one of the top 10 students of my class. My family was proud. Bored of my future, free for me to decide now. No longer would I have the future scaring me into a corner. I could choose my life on my own. That being said, I was still scared of where the future was going to take me. What did I want to do? Did I want to help build the family company? Did I want to venture off on my own? Okay, whatever I was going to do it with a smile on my face. I was happy and nothing could shake me down from that happiness. Okay, and no skipping that. Okay, all as if it was a dream, fell into place. Oh, here we go. This is different. I walked over to my balcony window and opened it, stepping onto the patio and staring into the sky. It was beautiful. The wind gently brushed over my face as I took in the smell of the morning. I felt a wave of confidence rush through my body as I stared into the sky. I'll be fine. I'll be just fine. I was confident that I could do anything now. My life was in my hands and I was strong enough to carry it. I was alone for now, yes, but eventually I knew that I would be happy at the end of my journey. I still had 100 battles to face. I had thousands memories to make, 1,000,000 stories to write. This was just one of those stories. That was my happily ever after. And my freedom M. Oh, well, there we go. Now we've got something a bit different. Is anything going to... Oh, here we go. Interesting. Well, there you go. That's Seduce Me The Otome visual novel. We're actually getting a credit screen on this particular ending and not on the other endings for some reason. Or did I accidentally skip past that? I don't think so. Huh. Yeah, there you go. Quite very sweet indeed, actually. Very sweet indeed. And the voice acting wasn't too bad either. It's got the job done, I suppose. So yes. Of course, it does make you wonder what the other endings are. Let's just have a look at what the actual time is. Yeah, starting to get a bit late, actually. Well, that's right. Let's just enjoy these credits as they scroll past. And there you go, sweet music as well. Wait a minute, Demon Lord? Yeah, there's definitely a bit more to this tale if we've got these other characters. Let's see. I don't know who the hell Gaku and Tiffy are, or Serona for that matter. Wait a minute, Eric's mother? Damien's mother? Son? Tammy? Wow, that actually seems that there's quite a bit more to this story than meets the eye. But there we go, we've gone through the, I suppose the death endings as well as these memory loss endings. I think there's probably, I'm guessing there's going to be probably one more ending involving Naomi in that case. Yeah, one more ending probably with Naomi. We probably have to make some other choices through the story to get to that, so there you go. Okay, oh, they got it funded through Kickstarter. Well, that certainly explains how they're able to get this, well, get this music, get all the voice acting, get everything really. Certainly wouldn't have been too easy to do if they were doing it entirely for free. But there you go. I mean, the sequel apparently is not free though, and it might actually be worth getting at some point though. We shall see what happens there. I'll definitely explore the other endings at the very least. So, yes. There's quite a few backers, I'll say that much. I wonder how old this thing actually is. Well, I think this sequel was only on Greenlight earlier this year, so yeah, it's relatively new. Wow, no, there's a name. Van der Woestijn. Sophian Raven. Indeed. Some incredibly long names. Well, not too shabby actually, not too shabby. They've definitely managed to pull out something quite special there. It's just interesting, indeed. It's interesting though how I didn't get this credit screen on the other endings though.
There's 1,000,000 stories left to write before
Were they truly right, though? Perhaps that's a matter of perspective. And there you have it, my freedom. So I'm guessing that's meant to be the main ending, or something? The main mundane ending anyway, that doesn't involve more demons and devils and such, I guess. Well, there you have it. It's quite something, isn't it? Certainly something a bit different to the usual stuff that's normally featured on this channel. Well, there you go. Hopefully you've enjoyed that. We'll be exploring more endings soon, and yeah. Till then, yeah, see us.